Hi students, so today you are going to be working on your new kind of source-based narrative unit. And so what I have here is we're going to put these terms, which are the terms that are on a DESE scoring guide. DESE is the Department of Education for the state of Missouri, and they put out basically what you guys need to be learning and how you need to be learning it. And so they sometimes tend to make things a little confusing. So what we're going to do is we are going to simply put it into terms that maybe make a little bit more sense for you. So for example, where it says the narrative, real or imagined, provides adequate elaboration using details, dialogue, and description. So that's a lot. So a simple way that just simply means is that you need to make sure that you are writing a story. Okay, writing a story that has details and dialogue. I'm going to keep that word. That's when your characters speak. Dialogue and description. So I'm still going to use some of the words from there, but I'm just taking out, it's just all it's saying is that you need to write a story, because a narrative, real or imagined, that's simply a story. And providing adequate, that just means that you are doing it and that you're doing it in a productive and a good way. And then the next one says experiences, characters, setting, and events are adequately, there's that word again. The word adequate means that you're doing it good enough. We do want to strive to be more like effective, but if you're adequate, it's good enough, and for now that's what we're working on. And then we will push ourselves to be a little bit better as we get more familiar with this type of writing. So, sorry, I'm adjusting the camera there. There we go. So adequate experience, character, setting, and events are adequately developed. That just means that your story, so instead of your, I guess I'll say my story has characters, okay, setting, and then I'm just going to say and plot, because we know what plot is because we worked a lot with it, and that's that beginning, middle, and end, the story roller coaster where you have your exposition, your beginning, your climax, your middle, and your resolution, your ending. So that's all that's saying there, is that you have all of that in your story. So my story has character, setting, and plot, and that's all I'm going to have. Alright, and then the next one says connections to source materials. This just means that the story uses the source, the source details. So that means that if I give you a story about a character that is going to the grocery store, and then I say to write a story about how you went to the grocery store, you need to go back into the source and say the character in the source is shopping for things to make spaghetti and meatballs, and they select all the things for spaghetti and meatballs. And what you're doing then is you're writing not a story about the exact same thing, but you're making your own spin on it, but you're taking details from the story. So you might have your character making something as well, and you're going through the same process of like selecting the things in the store. So using the source details, it doesn't mean you're writing it exactly like it, you're just using some of the details from the story. This one says adequate use of a variety of narrative techniques to develop experiences, events, and or show the responses of characters to situations. Again, that's a lot. And all that's really saying is that your story, so the story will have, so the narrative technique to develop experiences, events, or show response. So the story will have, events that make sense. So that your makes sense and connect. That's what that one's talking about. The next one says adequate use of sensory, concrete, and figurative language. advances the purpose. So what this means, guys, is just simply the story has, we're going to call it words or language. So same thing, it's just the word language is words that have purpose, and that makes sense. So the story has words or language that help you visualize, because that's what figurative language is. And just to kind of point this out, we haven't really touched on figurative language much, but that's things like the sun, or sorry, not the sun, the light shined as bright as the sun. So that's a simile, which is like a figurative language. That's what it's talking about there. And then generally appropriate style is evident. That's all that is, guys, is saying that this story is a story. So it's just saying, like, you're not writing an informational essay, you're not writing an opinion article, you're writing a story. That's all that is. So those are just a few things. I'm going to go over more of these as we go on throughout the week. But for today's purposes, this is good enough. So just think about these, rewatch this video. I actually would even write down on a, you guys are going to have this available to you with just these on the left side. So what you can do actually is go into the Google Doc and enter these on the right side as well for common practice. Or you can have, if you have a printer at home, you can have your parents print it off and then write it in pencil paper. But this is definitely something that you're going to want to refer to over and over again as we work on this throughout the next couple weeks. So thanks for listening all the way to the end, and hopefully that helped you understand more of what we are going to be doing.